Choosing a preschool for your child, I mean, it's a huge decision, right? You're basically entrusting a school with their safety, their little developing heart, and their education. So, how in the world do you know if you're making the right choice? To help you figure that out, we're going to break down the key red flags to watch out for, all based on what early childhood experts say really matters.
You know, this quote from a parent just hits the nail on the head. That gut feeling you get, that little voice that says something is off, is so powerful. But it helps to arm that feeling with actual facts. And that's exactly what this explainer is for, to give you a clear checklist so you can feel confident in your decision. So let's dive right in.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll look at the classroom environment, the immediate vibe of the place. Then we'll zoom in on the teachers and how they actually teach. After that, we are covering the absolute non-negotiables, safety, and how the school partners with you, the parent. And finally, we'll pull it all together into a positive vision of what every single child deserves. Okay, first up, the environment. This is the first thing you're going to notice on a tour, and trust me, the feeling you get from a classroom can tell you almost everything you need to know. So imagine walking into a room and your senses are just immediately on high alert. There are clashing colors everywhere, it's loud, kids are running around aimlessly, the shelves are just overflowing with clutter. If you feel stressed just walking in the door, imagine how a 3 or 4-year-old feels spending their entire day there. And there's some real science behind this feeling. Constant chaos, both visual and auditory, can actually raise cortisol. That's the stress hormone in a child's brain. Little kids are literally wired to look for order and predictability. It's what makes them feel safe enough to actually learn. A room that's too stimulating makes it almost impossible for them to focus.
Now, the alternative isn't some sterile, boring classroom. Not at all. It's about being intentional. The goal is a space that's calm, quiet, and organized. A place where teachers speak softly and you see children moving with purpose. This doesn't just happen by accident. It's a deliberate choice designed to protect a child's focus and their sense of peace.
And that leads us right into another big environmental red flag, a simple lack of order. We're talking about messy shelves, puzzles with missing pieces, or just a general feeling of disarray in the room.
And this is about so much more than just being tidy. A core idea in early childhood education is that a messy, disordered room can actually contribute to a messy, disordered mind. In a great preschool, order is a tool. It helps kids feel secure, it teaches them to respect their learning materials, and it just naturally leads to better focus and behavior. So this idea of an intentional environment perfectly sets us up for our next big topic, the teachers and their methods. Because how the adults in the room talk to and treat the children is every bit as important as the physical space. One of the most revealing things you can do on a tour is just listen. Listen to the tone a teacher uses. Are they barking orders, yelling across the room, using sarcasm? The sources we looked at all emphasize that how something is said is often way more important than the words themselves. And listen, the stakes here are incredibly high. Kids are like little sponges. They directly model the emotional behavior they see from the adults around them. A harsh environment can cause kids to become anxious, insecure, or even aggressive. A child's emotional state isn't just a nice to have. It's the absolute foundation for all learning. And you can really hear the difference here, can't you? Reactive language, like stop that, it just triggers shame. But guiding language, like let me show you how, or let's solve this together, that teaches problem solving, it empowers a child and protects their self-worth, even when they've made a mistake. Okay, next up are 2 red flags that you almost always see together: forcing all the children to do the same activity at the same time, and using tools like worksheets that just aren't a good fit for how little kids actually learn. So why is this a problem? Well, it goes against everything we know about how kids develop. Young children learn through movement, through touching and exploring things with their hands, and by being free to follow their own curiosity. Worksheets might get them to memorize something for a day, but they don't build that real deep understanding. So when you're on that tour, keep an eye out for a heavy use of these kinds of things: worksheets, tracing sheets, flashcards, or forcing every single kid to sit through a long letter of the week drill. It's a pretty clear sign that the school cares more about rote memorization than genuine learning. The alternative? It's a world of real, concrete, hands-on materials. Tools like a movable alphabet or golden beads for math let kids physically hold and manipulate abstract ideas. This is how they come to understand the why behind what they're learning, not just memorize the what.
All right, our final section covers the stuff that is, frankly, non-negotiable. This is all about the absolute foundation of trust, safety, and the partnership between the school and parents. And really, this question says it all, doesn't it? This is the #1 priority. Period. There is absolutely no room for compromise when it comes to the safety and well-being of your child. These are the immediate deal breakers. Insecure front doors, kids left unsupervised, furniture that could tip over, teachers distracted by their phones, or just a general lack of cleanliness. If you see any of these, it's a clear signal that safety is not the top priority it absolutely has to be. And that foundation of trust goes beyond physical safety. It's about the partnership. High staff turnover is a huge red flag. It creates instability for the kids. The same goes for poor communication. If your messages go unanswered or you never know what's going on, you're going to feel shut out. What you want is a school with a stable, supported staff that sees you as a true partner and keeps you in the loop every step of the way. So after looking at everything to avoid, a really positive vision starts to take shape. So let's flip the script and talk about what a truly supportive preschool environment actually looks like. This right here, this is the goal. A supportive environment doesn't just happen by accident. It is built intentionally. It's a place designed from the ground up to be all the things we've been talking about: safe, calm, respectful, and truly enriching. So here it is. Here's the positive checklist you can take with you on any school tour. When you find a school that is safe, calm, and respectful, and when its environment is orderly, enriching, and academically strong, that's when you know you've found a place that really understands how kids develop and is ready to help your child thrive. And let's just end on this thought, because this is what it all comes down to. Choosing a preschool isn't just about finding childcare. It's about finding a partner that will help protect and nurture your child's heart, their mind, and their entire future. So trust your instincts, use these red flags as your guide, and never, ever hesitate to advocate for what your child truly deserves.